I want to talk about how to find your signature scent. These are the tips that I've used myself and things that have really helped me find a couple fragrances, things that I really love, things that I can rotate throughout the year and with different outfits, and ultimately feel like myself when I wear them. I'm also going to share some of my own personal favorites in case they point you in the right direction for yourself. So let's get started. So my very first tip for finding your signature scent or your own perfect perfume is to try as many as possible. You're going to want to go to a department store or get a bunch of samples online, and anything that kind of piques your interest, go ahead and try it. Get a sample, get a tester, wear it on your wrist, wear it throughout the day, see how it melds with your body chemistry, and if you like how it smells after 10 minutes, and then an hour, and then 6 hours, and then so on. Your body can dictate how a fragrance is going to perform in a lot of different ways, and there have been some that I've tried and I've smelled them in the bottle and I thought, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. But then when I actually wear it, it just doesn't meld with my own chemistry, and it ends up smelling totally different and not how I want to come out. So this is so important when it comes to finding something that you're going to really love, because the last thing you want is to spend a lot of money on a perfume or a fragrance, wear it, and then have it give you a headache or make you feel sick or off at all, and really just be counter to what it's supposed to do, which is make you feel your best and really in tune with how you want that to come across. Very similar to that, my next tip that has really helped me is to go with my instincts, and most importantly, to go with my vibe or my own personal essence. This is so important because when you're wearing a fragrance and it doesn't align with who you are, it's gonna feel off, and no matter how expensive it was or how popular it is, it's not going to be something you're going to love wearing because it won't be in perfect balance with how you are as a person. So ignore all the trends, ignore things that are trendy and popular, and instead go totally with your instinct. What's a fragrance that you love? Maybe you love a flower or a food note. Maybe it's coffee, or maybe it's something like roses for me personally. And then go and look at a bunch, kind of just see what you're gravitating towards. Do you love the packaging on this one but not that one? Do you love the colors on this one but not that one? That has been so helpful for me because when I was first trying to find a fragrance, I went into Bloomingdale's, I'm pretty sure it's where it was, and I looked at all of them and I literally just laser focused to the ones that I thought were the prettiest. And then once I got to those, I was able to smell them, get testers, and then go from there. Another thing that's been really helpful for me is to separate my fragrances into seasons or weather types. So whether it's cold weather or warm weather, I find that how a fragrance sits on my skin and how it wears throughout the day can definitely change depending on the time of the year. And if it's really hot out, certain fragrances give me an asthma attack and they make me feel really bogged down. Versus if it's cold out, those fragrances do the complete opposite, and I find them very invigorating. So separating your thinking into spring, summer, and then fall, winter can go a really long way. And maybe if you live somewhere that's warm all year long, finding lighter, brighter, effervescent fragrances can be really great. Versus if you live somewhere that's cold most of the year, going for those more well-rounded, earthy, and really firm, solid feeling fragrances can be a great way for you to explore fragrance and really have fun customizing this. And if you choose to have more than one fragrance, you can build out your fragrance wardrobe and suit different times of the year, and then ultimately different fabrics that you're wearing, because I find that to be such a fun part of choosing a fragrance for what I'm wearing that day. Because if I'm wearing something light and flowy like the top that I have today, it's a really nice silk, I go for something a little bit lighter. I find that it supports it better. And then if I'm wearing a really cozy sweater, I'll choose some of my heavier fragrances, the fragrances that leave a lasting impression, and the fragrances that smell literally the way my sweater feels when I wear it. Such an interesting way to look at fragrance, and something that I've really loved because it becomes more of a creative expression that way. Also, if you're looking for a fragrance that you can wear all year long, or maybe a single signature scent and something you can can wear it in warm weather and cold weather. It can be a really good idea to keep it a little bit lighter, so things that are going to feel a little airier. In my experience, they tend to be more adaptable, and those types of fragrances kind of adjust to you, and they can be worn in warm weather and cold weather without feeling too extreme in either. And it can be a really nice way to find your perfect signature scent, and maybe find a note that you can carry through the rest of your perfume and be able to turn back to in maybe richer formulas, but then also lighter formulas. So before I share some of my own personal favorite fragrances, I wanted to also recommend considering getting a fragrance as a souvenir. This is something that I've done a couple times, and I'm always so happy with the result. Going on vacation or going somewhere special has so many memories tied to it, and if you're like me, those memories are also tied to scent. So by finding a fragrance as a souvenir, you're able to take yourself right back to that moment, and it's a really great way to relive those experiences. And every time you choose that perfume, you're going to be transported back and be able to feel everything that you felt, maybe taste some of the food that you had, and all in all, just be able to tie that memory to something you can have now, tangibly in the present. It's such a nice thing for me, and something that I wanted to recommend for you as well. So now I want to share my own personal fragrances. I have them separated into basically two categories. The first is the fragrances that are like my signature scent. They're the notes that I turn to all year long, and the scents that I wear in the cold weather as well as the warm weather. And then I also have some that I wear just when it's a little bit colder out. And it's an area of my personal fragrance wardrobe that I've started building out recently, because up until about a year ago, I had one scent and I would wear that one exclusively. And the common theme you'll notice is that I really love floral fragrances, and most specifically, I love rose. So anything that's going to be rosy in its overall feel is something I gravitate towards a lot. And since I first started choosing fragrance, it's something that's remained consistent and very much speaks to my own personal essence, my energy, the things that I'm naturally drawn to, and my own instinct when it comes to perfume. So let's start off with the perfume that I've been buying the longest, and sadly I think has been discontinued now. It is the Rose perfume by Issey Miyake. And back when I first tried to find my own fragrance and I wanted something that could feel like me, when I went into Bloomingdale's, this is the one that I settled on. And I loved it so much because from the first sniff it was perfect. And then as I wore it throughout the day, and I had a little tester and I kept turning to that for the whole week, I loved it even more, and it just felt perfectly like me. This is one that I've definitely come back to over and over and over again, and it serves as the foundation for my own fragrance preferences and really dictated a lot of what I've loved over the years. The Issey Miyake is so special because it's sweet but not too sweet. It's floral in a very refreshing way, and the rose feels incredibly elegant, and it doesn't feel kind of old-fashioned or suffocating at all. And since I have asthma, it's really important that my perfumes don't irritate my asthma, and this one never does. Neither of all of the ones that I'm going to talk about, they never irritate my asthma, but specifically this one, no matter the weather, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm wearing, this one is one that I always reach for. The next perfume that fits in this category of signature scent, it's got that rose base, and it's something that I wear all year long, or I will. It's very recent, so I haven't been able to wear it in the warmer weather yet, but I can tell by how it wears that I'll be able to do that really easily. And it's one that I added very recently, and it was a souvenir. I bought this one when I was in France, and I got it in Paris, and it is just beautiful. The packaging, the presentation. I shared a little bit of it on Instagram stories back when I was visiting, and it is just exquisite. It wears really, really well. It has incredible longevity, especially considering the formulation is a little bit more natural, and it's just a really, really special scent. Everything that I want from a souvenir and a fragrance. And every time that I smell it, I'm transported right back to that experience and that trip. So I definitely recommend considering that for yourself because it's such a special way to build out your fragrance and something I really love. Now I want to talk about the two perfumes that I have designated more for colder weather. They are a little bit heavier, they're a little bit more full-bodied, they have those fragrances that remind me of the fall and winter, and most importantly, they feel really, really great when I'm wearing a cozy sweater. So the first one is this one that I got maybe 2 years ago, I think at this point. I had admired the brand for a really long time. I thought their stories were cheeky, the packaging is really cheeky, and I received a tester sampler, and this one stood out to me because it's a little bit vanilla, but it's not sickly vanilla. And whenever I try vanilla fragrances and I wear that, it tends to go off a little bit on my skin and my body chemistry doesn't really respond well to it. So I end up not really loving those, but that's not the case with this one. It feels very warm, it feels very hearty and well-rounded. It's just really, really gorgeous. And if you're looking for a unique fragrance that's not too avant-garde, this can be a really nice brand to consider because when I received that sampler pack, all of the fragrances were unique. They felt independent of each other, but still special and also relatable in a way. So it wasn't something out of touch and it didn't feel like the fragrance was over here on another planet, but I was down here. And it melds the two in a way that's really, really nice and something I really enjoy. And then from there, the last one is the one that I've added very recently, probably last year, and it's from the same maker as the candle behind me on the mantle. And originally they do interior decoration, but this brand is so beautiful in every way and every thing has been considered. The imagery, the overall website is gorgeous, and then of course their actual work in interior design. And I love that with that candle, I can use that as a vase once the candle's done. And I love that fragrance so much that I wanted to get one of their perfumes. So since I've loved that candle so much, I ended up getting the perfume in the exact same scent, and it is so beautiful. It feels incredibly sophisticated. It feels more grounded than typical floral fragrances, and it has this beautiful solidity that runs through it, and something that I really love wearing. It feels effervescent in a way, but also grounded, and that juxtaposition and that beautiful balance is not only what I love about this fragrance, but what I love about that brand in general. And it's a gorgeous way to be able to incorporate that type of energy into my own personal wardrobe and my fragrance choices. So I've been very, very happy with that one, and I recommend it. It's very, very niche. They only have a couple perfumes, and definitely their forte tends to be the candles. I see those everywhere, and I don't see a lot of mention about the perfume, so I wanted to recommend it in case you're able to get your hands on it, because I've really loved it. And the packaging, the name, all of it. It's just everything that I love and so, so beautiful. So those are my tips for finding your perfect fragrance and building out your perfume wardrobe and really tapping into what you truly love and finding things that are going to be perfectly aligned with you, ignoring the trends, ignoring the fads, and finding a fragrance collection or maybe just one signature scent that can really speak to you and work with you in so many different ways and areas of your life. So I hope that you like this. Like always, I'm going to link the perfumes that I personally have in the description box in case any of them sounded interesting or like something you personally would like. And then definitely please let me know any fragrances that you love. I love hearing how diverse fragrance preferences are, and I love hearing why someone has chosen a perfect scent. So please let me know. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.